MariSonic190 has created a music tag. And he asks us a couple of questions. What are your favorite 3 music genres? Well, God, it's hard to answer, as my musical taste is broad, but it is closely related to the state of mind I'm in, my mood, etc. So it is very tough calling out my favorite genre. So, is it soul? Is it Motown? I grew up on that stuff with my parents listening to it. Is it rock? Is it folk rock? Is it folk? Is it bluegrass? Is it blues? Is it country? Or gospel? Yes, even that, despite the fact that I'm pretty much agnostic or humanist. Or is it reggae, ska? Or is it progressive rock? Well, I think it's a bit of both. It's a bit of everything. So hard to pick. Question number 2. Who are your favorite 5 artists? And 3 favorite tracks by them? God, that's tough. Well, ever since I was a little kid, I loved the music by Stevie Wonder. Songs in the Key of Life is actually one of my most favorite albums. Then, James Taylor with the Sweet Baby James album. I mean, yeah, it's older than me, but you know, I had a lot of older family members that were just big into that stuff, and so I grew up with that. But when I did acquire some of my own personal musical taste, I went more into the progressive rock kind of circles. Progressive music, alternative music. For example, Suzanne Vega. I pretty much like all albums, and she did work quite a bit with Philip Glass. Have you ever listened to Philip Glass? Well, if you like Suzanne Vega, you should. And then Phil Collins, Genesis, Peter Gabriel. Well, I pretty much like the bulk of the work. And yeah, but you know, I do like techno music as well, dance music, and I'm a big fan of these old retro computer music things. So, what are your 3 favorite music groups, circles? Well, I've always been a big fan of U2. I've always been a big fan of the Jackson 5 as a kid, so that counts. But I'm also bands like Spock's Beard, the Ärzte, Fantastische Vier. Those 2 are German groups. Blof, which is a Dutch group. Yeah, so I mean, I like a lot of music. I mean, a lot of music is very good if it's played live, and if you are listening to it or going along with it. You know, as a kid, I pretty much grew up with my parents listening to 60s, 70s, and Motown music. So I'm pretty much a Motown, Stevie Wonder, Doobie Brothers, Michael Jackson, Four Tops, Carole King type of guy. But I do love blues as well. And in high school, I actually had a little harmonica, a blues harp, and I tried to do something with that as well. And that's touching on the other subject. Do you make your own music? Well, I do play a couple of instruments. I've got my old trusty guitar, and as you can see, it's pretty banged up, but yeah, I play that a lot. So yeah, I do make my own music. I like to play the guitar. I started out playing the recorder, and I had a little little organ, and so I even played the accordion because we had one in the house. I just taught myself. I do have a little Casio keyboard that I play the harmonica. And I branched out into the Irish flute because, or the Scottish flute, because it has one less hole than the recorder, but it actually has the same fingering, so it's very easy to pick that up. Metal flute, very nice. And let me see. What's your favorite era of music, decade, etc.? I think as a young kid, I really listened a lot to the 50s and 60s music my parents were listening to, also the 70s. But for my own personal taste, I do have most sympathy for the 80s and 90s era. There are a lot of top 40 bands from the 80s and 90s that really were very special to me. There's a ton of very good artists, and perhaps I should open up my iTunes and see if I can point out some stuff. I don't dare play the music because I'm very afraid of copyright issues, of course. But yeah, check out some great YouTubers that make their own music. Jill Poo 3, makes awesome guitar music. Just put out a very nice Christmas CD. He has been producing that or making that for a couple of years. At least he was working on that for a couple of years. And I actually got one, which is very nice. Stuart Brett. He's also makes very nice and very recognizable music. And be sure to check that out. And of course, Matt Howlett. I mean, Matt's music has been featured in quite a few YouTubers' music or channels, and that's great. So yeah, let me see if I can do some sort of cover flow thing here. So yeah, Aha, I like a lot, but there's no. Aha is I think it's a Swedish band, and then that's the soundtrack. What's this? Anna Lord. You guys know that. Alanis Morissette. Well, I'm a big fan of Alanis Morissette. I loved the Jagged Little Pill album, which totally got me through medical school. Especially the track called Perfect, and that's a song that has a very special place because, you know, as a medical student, it's never enough what you do, and you always have to perform better, harder, faster, and that is where this song is all about. So yeah, great stuff. Alanis Morissette. Okay. Let me see. What's this? Oh yeah, this is cool as well. This is a Danish band. It's a very popular band. It's pop music, but this is the album Alphabeat, which is yeah, it's not really the best music in the world, but it's fun. So let me see. Oh yeah, I mean this girl, Annie Lennox. Man, I like her a lot. Korn, I like a lot. Anouk, which is a Dutch singer. Urban Solitude, very, very cool. Check her out if you want. Aphex Twin, love Aphex Twin. Aqua Lung, oh man, yeah. Armin van Buuren and Sarah McLachlan. Armin van Buuren, great music. Sinead O'Connor. Billie Joel, Attila, the album Attila, I play a lot. Axl Rose and Meatloaf. Barbara Streisand, Beach Boys. I mean, my parents listened to that album a lot, Beach Boys. The soundtrack of Trainspotting. Man, that's a good track, great track. Ben Taylor, the son of James Taylor, he actually has a very similar voice and has great music. And his mom actually was Carly Simon, I believe. So yeah, and they actually sing together in some tracks. Very nice. Yeah, Michael Jackson. I mean, yeah, the Jackson 5. I pretty much grew up with the guy, so yeah. Kate Bush, great singer, great performer. Billie Joel, of course, I mentioned that before. Black Eyed Peas. I mean, yeah, I just love the Black Eyed Peas. I mean, their lead singers, especially the lead female singer is. I mean, I just dig her. I mean, she's a bit older, I guess. I think she's close to 40. So yeah, perhaps I'm wrong. But Blind Melon. Oh yeah, Blind Melon. Let me see, Blind Melon. Got a lot of albums. Blof. Yeah, you write it like that. If you're into Dutch music, Blof is. Be sure to check out Blof. Got quite a few tracks by them. And then the soundtrack. Oh, Cruel Intentions, Blur. Britpop. Love that. Blur. Girls and Boys. And what else? Bryan Adams, Brian Eno, The Broken Social Scene, great stuff. Bruce Hornsby, yeah. I mean, everybody knows tracks like The Way It Is, Mandolin Rain, Every Little Kiss, The Valley Road, Look at Annie Shenno, Jacob's Ladder. I mean, if you haven't heard Bruce Hornsby before, I think that is typical 80s, 90s American music. Very great. I mean, Bruce Hornsby, know that. Of course, Bruce Springsteen, Bryan Adams, Kate Bush, Candy Dulfer. I mean, I'm pretty much into Prince, but Candy Dulfer, our own Dutch saxophone player. She has a couple of albums out, did some work with Prince. And if you like your saxophone music, check out Candy Dulfer. Carly Simon, Ben Taylor, Chaka Khan, The Chemical Brothers, Christopher Cross. Yeah, that's pretty lame, but Christopher Cross. The Clash, Coldplay. The Commodores. Let's switch out the... switch out the... okay, The Course. Counting Crows, Crowded House. Daft Punk. I love Daft Punk. Damien Rice, David Bowie, David Lynch. Delirium, Destiny's Child, Direct, Dido. Don Henley, The Doobie Brothers. Duffy. Eagles. Edie Brickell and the new... and the new Bohemians. The Editors. Elton John even. Enya, Eurythmics, Everly Brothers, Faith Hill, Failovsky, Feist, Fleetwood Mac, Flyleaf, Frank Boeien, Dutch artist, pretty good, Frank Sinatra, Frou Frou, Gary Newman, Gemischt, Genesis, okay, a lot of Genesis here, George Winston, the Gorillaz, I mean, yeah, they have the lead singer from Blur, the Gorillaz, great stuff, I mean, who doesn't remember that song Clint Eastwood? Green Day, Hif Biba, The Handsome Family, I mean, yeah, The Handsome Family, I mean, that is just awesome music, The Handsome Family. Here we have The Handsome Family. Okay, Hot Chocolate, Iggy Pop, Ilse de Lange, In Excess, Bach, James Blunt, James Morrison, James Taylor, Jamiroquai, love that music, got a great many albums. Joe Cocker, Joey Hiyashi, John Legend, Joss Stone, Justin Timberlake, Julian Thomas, Case Choice, Kaiser Chiefs, Kane, Karin Blume, Dutch artist, Kate Bush, Kate Nash, Keen, Kenny G, Kings of Convenience, Kings of Leon, The Cooks, Kool and the Gang, Kasheen, Krasip, Kylie Minogue, Laura Janssen, Leaf, Lenny Kravitz, Level 42, Lighthouse Family, Linkin Park, Lionel Richie and the Commodores, Liza Loeb and the 9 Stories, Liza Loeb, The Little Willies, Livingston Taylor, the brother of James Taylor, Lorena McKennitt, Macy Gray, Madness, Madonna, Manic Street Preachers, a lot of Manic Street Preachers, Marco Borsato, Dutch artist, Marillion, Marilyn Manson, Mark Knopfler, Maroon 5, Marvin Gaye, Matilda Santing, Meatloaf, Melanie, the old Melanie, from the 60s, Melissa Etheridge, Michael Jackson, George Michael, Mickey Erbe, and Maribeth Solomon, Mika, Mike and Rich, Moby, Youth Math, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, Nora Jones, Oasis, OK Go. I mean, if you're into YouTube, you can go with OK Go. Olivia Newton-John, Alfred Preussler, Owl City, Paul Anka, Paul Potts, Pete Murray, Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins, I mentioned him before. Philip Glass, Pink Floyd, The Police, of course, Sting, Prince, R.E.M., Raccoon, Radiohead, Rage Against the Machine, Razorlight, Relaxing Dreams, Robbie Williams, Rock 4, Dutch old vocal band, Roger Whittaker even some, Sade, Sam Prekop, Sam Sparrow, Sarah Bareilles, Sarah Brightman, Sarah McLachlan, Saskia Noord, Dutch artist, Scissor Sisters, great stuff, Seal, Shania Twain, Sheryl Crow, Anastacia, Simon and Garfunkel, Simply Red, Sinead O'Connor, I mentioned that before, Skunk and Nancy, I mean, yeah, Skunk and Nancy, man, Status Quo, Spandau Ballet, Stevie Ann, Stevie Wonder, Sting, man, it goes on, the Stone Temple Pilots, the Sugar Babe, Susan Boyle, Suzanne Vega, Tangerine Dream, Tears for Fears, Texas, Tanati Wen, The Things, Tokyo Hotel, Tony Braxton, Tori Amos, Total Touch, and Treintje Oosterhuis, Travis, Twarus, U2, Uccinelli, classical music, Van Velzen, and various top 40 stuff, Vivaldi, Will Smith, Wham, Wilson Phillips, Within Temptation, Evanescence, Yes, YMCK, what is it, Three Doors Down even, oh my god, and then a whole lot of loose tracks. So yeah, these are my favorite musical things that I want to show. So yeah, that's it.